Hello, welcome to this video on using your TI84 graphing calculator to create a scatter plot from given data. We'll walk through one example in this video. We're going to use our calculator to create a scatter plot of the data shown below. So here we have a set of data. We have time tied in with speed. Normally you'd be given units. We're not going to worry too much about units for this question, just the actual mechanics of getting the scatter plot on the calculator. To enter this data into your calculator, you want to press Stat and then select option 1, Edit. You can see that right here. You get this screen when you press Stat, and you can just press Enter immediately to get into the Edit window. You'll see a window like this without the data entered in. When you want to enter your data in, you want to always put it into L1 and L2. Put the first half of the data into L1 and the second half into L2. Okay, this corresponds to an X value or an input value and a Y value or an output value. Once you entered them in, and you can enter them in all L1s at once by pressing 0, enter, 10, enter, 20, enter, and so forth. Moving over to L2 and pressing 0, enter, 8, enter. Make sure your data matches the data that you were given in the question, because if it doesn't, all of the following answers will be incorrect. And once you're satisfied the data matches, move on to the next step. In order to get a scatter plot, you have to press second on your calculator, the blue second button, and then the Y equals button in the top left, which has the option Stat Plot above it, to enter this Stat Plot menu. You can pick any of the three. The first one is fine, so we're going to pick the first Stat Plot, so just press Enter, and you'll see this second screen giving you options for the Stat Plot. Assuming that you put your data into L1 and L2, nothing in this screen needs to be changed. What you have to make sure is that you press Enter on the highlighted On button to make sure you've turned that plot on. By default, the off is highlighted. This picture is showing you once you've pressed Enter, the On will be highlighted. It's the only thing you have to do to activate the stat plot on your calculator. If you do go ahead on your calculator and press Graph at this point, you won't see almost any of the data because it falls outside of the default window. That means we have to adjust our window settings to be able to see the data we were given. Again, going back, time that we put in L1 corresponds to an X value and speed corresponds to a Y. So you want to press your window button, and for a minimum X value or X min, you want to put in a value at the lowest value given or even lower than that. For this one, since time can't go lower than 0 in most experiments, I put a 0 as the lowest time possible. And then for X max, you want to put a value that is at least as high, if not higher, than your highest time given. I went another 10 minutes or seconds or whatever units it is, and I went to 50. Again, this isn't, there's no scientific method to this. It's just whatever feels right, as long as you're larger than the largest value given. I did the same thing with my Ys. I went with a speed of 0 as my lowest value, and then I went with a nice round number of 150 over my max speed of 107, just to be sure that all this data can be shown on the graph. So if you set your window exactly that way and you press Graph, you should see your scatter plot. There is 5 points. There's one hidden down here at 0, 0. It's hard to see, and the other 4 points from the data that you were given. You can do this to create a scatter plot for any types of data. Just always remember to put your lists into list 1 and list 2. Thanks for watching.